to make the biggest contribution in post-independent Uganda. They have enjoyed quite a wide degree of acceptability in the country. They have enjoyed tranquility in the country. They have enjoyed very good international acclaim and backing. The economy has been moving steadily, and all other spheres of life have been moving steadily. They have had an opportunity to make a contribution to this country. In 1986, when they came to power, you read their 10-point program, which summarizes their vision. You would see the way they were welcomed. Even the support they received from the bush was a sign that the people had been distressed by the previous regimes. So there was a lot of hope, there was a lot of expectation from the public, and part of the activities they undertook, you know, these commissions of inquiry into human rights violations of previous regimes, the code, the NRA code, which was attached to the 1967 constitution to create discipline in the army, and all those other gestures, it really brought hope. And I think people lived in hope initially. The Ugandans gave them a benefit of doubt. Unfortunately, the disease which had afflicted the previous regimes with the time swallowed them up.
Which disease is that?
Disease of greed, disease of egocentrism, the disease of excessive love for money, excessive love for power, and as a result of that, the mistakes that had been committed by previous regimes have all been committed by this regime. You remember, in the early days, the justification that Obote used to ban political parties was the same justification Amin gave, and was the same justification Mr. Museveni gave. The attitude towards the press, the free press, okay, the same situation which was happening previously manifested itself in the current regime. You remember Sida Mwanga?
Yes.
Yes, what happened to
Uganda human rights activists?
Yes, as early as that time. You remember the arrests of the Sekweyamas?
Anthony Sekweyama.
Yes, the arrests of the invasion of UPC headquarters, yes, as early as I think 86 or 87 or about there. The invasion of Internal Affairs Ministry, I think by that time it had Mr. Semogere, I don't remember so well. As early as that, yes, the country had been...
some ministers were arrested at some
Yes,
place.
Some ministers were arrested, the Kayiras and the rest. Yes. Okay. The role of the army has remained a significant factor right from the colonial period, and the police playing a secondary role. Okay, the corruption. Of course, what is happening is that it seems that the evils of the previous regimes, the longer this regime stays in power, the more it multiplies the evils that were committed. So if corruption...
so there's a problem with staying too long in power?
Well, especially if you become greedy.
Right.
And
is it possible to stay in power for long without being greedy?
Fear of... you see, there is political greed. There is also financial greed. The current regime combines both.
Oh.
Yes, I'll give you an example. A person like Muammar Gaddafi.
Yes.
Not much is mentioned about his personal wealth. You know, whatever investments you hear about, it's in the names of the people of Libya.
Yes.
Okay. Here, when somebody steals money, okay, they are developing themselves.
So Gaddafi is better than some of us.
So the financial greed and the political greed have been combined. Look at the element of freedom, the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, the association of freedoms. Ugandans have never enjoyed association of freedoms in the true sense of association of freedom right from the colonial era.
What do you mean?
I am talking about freedom of assembly.
Yes.
I'm talking about
We have political
freedom.
parties right now.
Yes, and how free are they?
You can hold rallies.
How free are they? What hurdles? I have attempted to organize rallies before. You know the hurdles. The only successful rallies that occur in this country for political parties are those that happen during elections. When elections are over, the story is different. So the element of association of freedom, even media freedom, in the true sense, you know how much the media is being restricted. You know how much censorship goes on. You know how most of you in the media have adopted the stance of self-censorship because of the powers that be. So even on the question of human rights, respect for human rights, we move one step forward, two steps backwards. You make a law which is progressive in nature, and you have very many clawback clauses, what we call in law clawback clauses.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You are talking
With one
about
hand, taking away with another.
taking away with another.
Yes.
Look at the corruption, and look at how the country is being taken for a ride. How can somebody fool the country that 17 billion shillings can get stolen from the confines of State House? Really?
What do you think happened?
Do you think Ugandans are sleeping? I think when the country,
what is your theory? The money was not
the
stolen or what?
money was diverted.
Really?
And such a huge amount of money is not a creation of one individual. It must be a cartel. So you don't fool the country by saying 17 billion shillings was stolen. How do you carry it? And where do you take it?
You reverse with a truck.
So
In the gunny bag.
so you look at the level, look at the bogus refunds.
Which refunds?
Of Kano Mugenyi, of Basajja Balaba, and the rest. People are buying.
But someone said it's little money.
People are buying markets, and you are seeing you have an opportunity of stopping the purchases. You look the other side. After the purchases have been made through tender, whether lawful or unlawful, those in power know better. After that, the tenders are cancelled, and you are talking about compensation. Then you agree on the compensation. Then opportunistically you come out and say, I didn't approve those claims. Look at those bogus kind of refunds that are happening.
Let us move forward from State House.
In this house. Yeah, but we are yet to see. We are yet to see prosecutions.
You don't believe let us move forward?
I don't think so.
Really?
Let me tell you that historically we have had rumors of letters being forged from State House. You remember some time back we had information that the letter sacking Brigadier Tumukunde had been forged, something like that. You people in the media, you know better, you can remind me. You remember this Makerere land in Kololo? Okay, yes. Somebody said the letters from which kind of State House is this, which has become so simplistic that any Tom, Dick and Harry will come up and forge a letter? What does that speak of the office or of the sanctity of State House? What does that portend for the people occupying offices there? It speaks volumes. So I think as a country, we have over time, we have gotten a raw deal. Look at the quality of our election. Look at just the quality of our election. Other countries are moving forward and are becoming a source of admiration.
Yes.
Even Zambia can afford to have a very, very qualitative election. Yes. Zambia, I am talking about Zambia.
Incumbent handing over power.
Yes, peacefully. It can't happen here.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the attitude.
How do you hand over power when you've won?
Yes, I am talking about the attitude and the WikiLeaks and what the NRM insiders are saying, the likes of Captain Mike Mukula and the project of succession. So the quality of election is in itself wanting. You read and internalize the voluminous judgments of their lordships of the Supreme Court, 2001 and 2006. They speak a lot about our election and electoral process. Right. So as a country, we are limping.
Oh,
we are limping, and I think we need more reflection than celebration. We need to accept that this country belongs to us all.
Right.
What will it help you, Edmond, to have 10 arcades in Kampala? You read somebody is getting a commission of 500 billion shillings. 500 billion. Okay? Even if God was to grant you 500 years in the future, you cannot eat 1 billion in a year. So where do people want to take this country?
All
so
right.
I am convinced that the NRM government has had an opportunity, which they have squandered.
okay.
And as a result, they are likely to fall into this common adage: when you come to power on the back of a tiger, you are likely to end up in the stomach of that tiger.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Explain that a little bit better in regard to our politics.
Yes, you
Power on the back of a tiger.
Yes,
You might wind up in its stomach.
its stomach.
How does that happen?
You know, the way they came
Yes.
is likely to be the way they are going to live.
Why do you prophesy?
You know, it's not about prophecy. There is history elsewhere. So if they don't manage, and they still have an opportunity, I still insist, there is still an opportunity for the current regime to appreciate that this country has various stakeholders, and that it's important
Right.
for the stakeholders to sit and map a way forward for the good. We don't want anybody
Right.
to leave this country after this regime has gone away, either through an election or through popular revolt, as it is happening elsewhere.
Well, incidentally, Uganda has never had a peaceful transfer of government. 49 years of independence, coming on to 50 next year. This is Spectrum, listeners on Radio 1 tonight. Uganda attaining 49 years of independence. Is the country on the right track, taking into account the ideals of independence? You can call in now. Our numbers: 0414 348 111, 0312 260 390, 0312 261 390. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Spectrum, hello.
Good evening, Edmond.
Good evening, your name?
I'm AM calling from King Fahd Plaza. Thank you for hosting Council Basaliwa. I want to salute him for his articulation, but I want to disagree with him when he mentioned earlier that the NRM government doesn't invite them. What actually, in very many occasions, NRM has invited you, but the way you talk with arrogance. But are you guys in opposition? And when you say that we have not achieved anything, I think you have not been in this country, because from 62, if you look today where we are, at least we should be commemorating what we were before. So another issue, you mentioned about Zambia, that Zambia has been changing. Look at Michael Sata. How many times has he tried the presidency of Zambia? Even Zambia as a country, he has problems because removing the Banda. I think Zambia had its own challenge. And another issue, finally, we as Ugandan, we have our own challenges as a country. Even if Benson is out of the state house, we are going to have the same problem. So we should work with government for the betterment of our country. Thank you.
Spectrum, hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, you're live on Spectrum. Your name? Hello.
Hello, Edmond.
Yes, sir. Your name?
Good evening, Edmond. This is Salama Kusota calling from Rosila.
Yes.
Now, Edmond, about that topic, thanks very much for the topic you brought in. But for me, I think the only problem is that, let's say, you see, every government cannot do it and everything. But the truth is that NRM has done something, but I know that they cannot at least finish it and everything. What we need to do in our country is that we need at least to fight corruption. That is number one. That is one of the things that have actually defeated us. We, our leaders, and even the local people, we've totally failed to do what? To fight corruption. That is the main reason as why this independence is not so helpful to us. One thing I just know is that if we can at least fight it out, the next independence will be good. Because if you look at what is taking place in the country, you find that all of us don't have the heart for the nation, which is so bad. Kamba Christopher Luzira. Thanks very much.
Spectrum, hello.
Edmond.
Yes, sir. Your name?
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
Jim Mukasazem. I normally don't call you, you know why, but there are many things to talk about. 49 years of Uganda's independence, 25 years of a regime of one person, formerly a patriot, and today your guess is as good as mine. Now, talking after people who think the best of times are now, because they were born during this time, is very unfortunate. This discussion would have been very helpfully contributed to by people who were born even much earlier, or around the same time with whoever is in power now. Now, statistics, look at what was done for the welfare of Uganda back then. You can backdate it from 86 backward. Look at what has done growth to individuals. Measuring of GDP means you get wealth of people. A few of them, plus a few others, add it up and divide the whole family. GDP grows. Is that the case of Uganda? It's not. Now, I want you to go and look at one thing. There is one surviving cooperative union in Uganda. The government wants to kill it because it wants to kill evidence of previous success. Okay. Can you please go back and look at why it has survived?
Okay, thank you.
Hello?
Yes, Petram, hello?
Yes, good evening to you.
Good evening, your name?
Dr. Tanga from Makerere.
Yes, Dr. Tanga.
Thanks very much, Honorable Basalva.
Thank you, Doctor.
And your views. I think the only thing is that the question you brought out has as many answers as the people and their political inclinations. One would say Uganda has received nothing. One would say Uganda is a colonial state up to now. But I think on a balance sheet, there's need for us to appreciate that we are independent, although there are some mistakes here and there, we should correct it as independent people. Let's not actually just say nothing about any regime. And secondly, if you go to chronology of leadership in this country, I agree with him that what has befallen Uganda is not the bad climate, is not maybe the lakes receiving heavy water volumes. It's actually the quality of leadership. And notwithstanding differences here and there, I think this regime has tried its best, but there are areas where they can still correct to do best. Thank you.
Spectrum, hello? Okay, let's get back to the studio. Mr. Basari. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir, your name?
This is Patrick.
Yes, Patrick.
My question is this, or comment is this, to the gentleman in the radio station. I think the beginning of this talk is a very good thing, and we could start it with the 30 years of bananas of Alex Mukuru, and also have some 25 years of bananas from 1986 to date, and they compare what exactly has happened. And it's true, this government has done a lot of development, and some things which have gone wrong are highlighted also in this economy. But for example, look at all the government parastatals. Where are they? Where is our UCB? Where is our cooperative bank? There are so many of them. Nightingale was for hours. Uganda Grain Millers, Uganda Coffee Marketing Board. Where are they? They were all run down. He gave an example of Bugisu Cooperative, which is being run down so that evidence is killed. And it's very unfortunate. When you look down and behind, it is very worrying. The corruption in this country, the junk helicopters, the undersized uniforms, the rotten rice or maize which was imported, the junk, too many things. And we hear our airport is going to be privatized, we don't know. There are too many things which have gone wrong. So if you compare the balance sheet of the 30 years of independence and the balance sheet to date, I mean, there are so many things which have gone wrong. Probably we are in red. In late 1900s, rather 1990s, Uganda was one of the countries which benefited from HIPIC, and our debt was written off. Today, our debts have gone bad. HIPIC is held
indebted poor countries. Uganda benefited, and our debt had reduced to less than 1 billion. But as we talk now, our debt is probably in the excess of 90 billion also. So many things are happening. It's unfortunate for God and my country.
That's very true. Incidentally, news just came in. While Uganda's economy grew towards the end of June, within the 1 year up to the end of June, our balance of payment went into a deficit $581 million from a surplus of 211. That means there's a gap of $782 million. You can do the maths and know what could have happened. Mr. Basalirwa.
Yes. Well, it would be unfair really to say that this government has done totally nothing. It's an unfair statement, and I don't think I mentioned it.
Yes.
Even by the way, the colonial government, some achievements, by the way, are inadvertent, while others are deliberate. You make an achievement accidentally. So that's why when you are making a balance sheet of these regimes, you'll find positives here, negatives here. And this government has made some achievements, just like Obote's government did, just like Amin's government did, just like the colonial regime did. The point I'm making is that this government, having been in power the longest since independence,
Longer than all the other governments combined. Yes.
has had the best opportunity. And people could not, along the way, have nostalgia about the government of Obote, about the government of Amin. That should have never crept into people's minds at any point in time.
Yes.
So God has bestowed on this government the best opportunity, which in my view I feel they have squandered. They had an opportunity to learn from the mistakes, especially from the fact that some of the key players in the current government were also key people in the previous regimes. They had that exposure, they had that experience, so it was very easy for them to think about the mistakes and correct them. I don't really think now this government would really be torturing innocent people who are working to work. I don't think so. I don't think this government would be tolerating anybody stealing public money. Anybody. Selective application of justice. Persecution rather than prosecution. That should not really be happening in this government. I don't really think that this government should be at the forefront of subverting people's will through fraudulent election.
What do you mean?
When they themselves were the ones who went to the bush because of a stolen election. So this country, this regime has lived in contradictions. They have had an opportunity which they have squandered. And that is where history is going to be very harsh with them. Very harsh. With the stability you have enjoyed, with the human resource you had, with the exposure you had, with the international backing you had, people would not be lamenting about poor quality of hospitals, about poor quality of roads, about poor quality of education. People would not be lamenting about all this. So I think it's an opportunity that has been squandered. The independence itself, the achievement of independence itself is an achievement. But independence, by the way, is a very amorphous concept. If we are talking in terms of international law, independence means that you have one vote in the UN, for example.
Yes.
That you are a state, just like other states.
Yes.
You are 30 million people. China is how many billion? But you are all considered to be independent. That concept alone is an achievement.
Yes.
And that constitutes my 10% of the 100. That the fact that we are legally independent for all this time should in itself be a source of celebration. When it comes to other aspects, by the way, the other day I was reading in the papers, some British firm is chasing people from some area.
Yes, some villages.
The white man is coming back indirectly. Who is in control of our oil now? We have to go to Britain for arbitration.
Yes.
In Machinje, who told the people to vote Dr. Ian Clark? Who told them? The people themselves.
They chose the white
man. Okay, so the legal concept of independence is what we should really be.
Even in Rwanda, they voted someone who looks like a white man.
Yeah, yes, although that one is an indigenous, is homebred.
Yes.
So the aspect of legal independence is something we should really be appreciating.
Okay,
Finally, I think somebody was saying we are invited, we don't go. That is true.
You speak badly. That
well, I personally, I don't think Jem has been invited. I have not seen the card. I was at the offices today. But why don't people attend celebrations?
Yes.
You look at the language, the diction, the choice of words
past leaders
of the president. Can you imagine the president invites you and he begins insulting you?
All right.
That is un-African. You in Africa, if you have a visitor, however much you dislike them, you are courteous to them.
All right.
So you don't expect us to go to receive insults. So it's only when there are assurances that the president will be courteous that invitations to independence celebrations will be meaningful.
We have to go. Thank you very much, Mr. Asman Basalirwa, President of the Justice Forum Party, JEMA. Thank you for coming to Spectrum. We invited Honorable Kabakumba, but she was not able to make it tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Edmond Chizito. Spectrum will be back tomorrow. Right now, though, if you stay tuned, you can hear the music in the English language. Do stay tuned.
Ono DJ Banana spinning the disc is spinning. You are Kakumudale Kamota. Now watch this.